I have resuscitated 3 people on an airplane with a cup of friggin' cold ice water. Yes, stick a stick between the teeth, even the little red pokey thing that they use.
How often are you flying?
A lot. And it's usually from Newark to Phoenix. That seems to where people go down.
That's a long flight.
Now I'm flying out of other cities. Anyway. And then you just take it because it's the same concept. We shock the body to normal.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Well, that is the story of human progress.
1 inch at a time.
I'm your host, Joe DiStefano, and you're listening to Stack. In today's episode, we travel to Arizona and sit with my friend Lois Laynee. Now, Lois was first introduced to me as a breathing expert. But as a breathing expert myself, it didn't take me long to realize her and I are in different camps. In fact, she is one of the world's leading authorities on the brain and the autonomic nervous system. In fact, she's going to provide answers to questions that maybe you've asked again and again and again and again over the years. Questions like, how come person A and person B can do the same thing and one of them loses 10 pounds and one of them gains 3? Or how come I can't meditate? Or how come my dad's addicted to the couch? Or maybe, how come my kid acts this way? Or how come I can't get pregnant? Which is the real takeaway of this show. We dive deep into optimal childbirthing, how to make sure a baby is able to reach its highest potential without complications, and how to hack your own biology regardless of how you were born so that you can reach yours now. That's one of Lois's real gifts, which is communicating complex ideas like neurology into digestible nuggets that you can act on today in your everyday life. Now, before this episode kicks off, I'd advise you to grab maybe a notebook and definitely a popsicle stick, a coffee stirrer, maybe a chopstick left over in the kitchen, because you're going to need it. You're going to want it. You're probably going to carry it with you the rest of the week until you find a better solution, because Lois is going to teach you some tricks with that thing that are going to blow your mind. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show with Lois Laynee. Today's episode of Stacked is brought to you by BlueBlocks. This company is leading the charge in blue blocking technology. To me, they are sort of bringing this technology to the masses, making it stylish and socially acceptable to do what you need to do for your health. It's amazing to me that a lot of times we don't make decisions that are in the best alignment with our health because we're worried about what people think. And I think wearing orange safety glasses out on a date falls into that category. But BlueBlocks is now creating all sorts of blue blocking technology, starting with completely clear lenses and going all the way up to really dark orange ones for right before bed, that they can create in a bunch of different styles and even with your prescription lenses inside them. So now there's no excuse not to protect your eyes, because you know what? Mother Nature never prepared us for the intensity of the blue light that we're now exposed to through modern technologies. If we're spending long days staring into a screen or even into our phone, we are doing long-term damage to our eyes, and it's just as easy as putting on a pair of sunglasses to protect yourself. So head on over to blueblocks.com and use code RUNGA at checkout to save 15% on what I believe to be the absolute best blue blockers on the market. It's the, was it Mike Tyson? Like, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Well, let's hope not to get punched in the face, because the cranial nerves don't like that.
Yeah. Oh.
We smush our brains. Life goes twisting. You know, the right and left brain never get back in sync unless you put them back in sync if you get hit in the face.
Right. Well, I'm extremely grateful to be chatting with you, because if you had my childhood in front of you on paper, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this poor skull.
So we're going to have some internal analysis, huh?
Yeah. And feel free to use me. I mean, I got nothing.
Perfect.
I got nothing to hide. If you see the way I'm looking, the way I'm moving, if it triggers some cranial nerve discussion, rock and roll. This
Well,
podcast
you can also ask
is-
me how you would biohack your own brain,
Yeah.
because you know your story, and
Yeah.
sometimes bringing up your story kind of scares your own brain.
Right.
So it's not about like the past as much as where do you struggle?
Right.
Because wherever you struggle, of course, has a story somewhere.
Right.
And if we can strengthen the cranial nerves, because they run the whole show, they
Right.
really do. They're the panel behind making sure that the brain's talking to the body
Right.
and that the brain is responding to accurate data. And that's the misconception, is we think the brain is this one thing, and really we have three separate parts, and they really do things very differently,
Right.
but they respond to the signals that are given to them.
Right.
So if a brain stem has been twisted by some type of injury, you're going to be giving bogus signals to the brain. Then the brain responds on faulty data. That's what we're here to change for everybody, whether it's a baby, whether it's a 2-year-old that somehow, kind of trips a little bit when it walks.
Yeah. Yeah.
If a personal trainer looked at a 30-year-old that trips when they walk,
Right.
they would intervene.
Right.
But somehow, if a 2-year-old trips when they walk,
Right.
sometimes we go, isn't that cute? And we hope they grow out of it.
Right.
And I just say, well, did the bent tree ever just suddenly straighten up?
Right.
No, usually they grow in the direction of a twist for
Right.
whatever reason,
Right.
So people can be twisted in many different events of life, besides birth or a car accident or just roughing house and playing sports and
Right.
running into walls and hotel rooms in the middle of the night because it's a new room and you didn't know where the bathroom door was.
Right. So before we dive into all this, I mean, just for folks listening, could you give and I know you did a little bit, but like a high level, like what is it that you're doing? Like what kind of clients are you seeing? What kind of work? What kind of transformations are you nurturing or creating or hoping to see in your clients? Just so we can kind of level set this work you do, because I think it's extremely unique. I don't think there's a lot of Lois Laynees out there.
There aren't yet.
And yet. And I think people need just this sort of calibration of like, what is the potential inside of all of us that you're helping people unlock?
That's a huge question. Let me answered a different way. The potential of, they're called neuronal groups, and that's the way nerve signal starting at the brainstem throughout the whole body. So it's a network. They fire 100 million billion times a millisecond. That is your potential.
Is that a real number?
Yes, it truly is. So when that is your potential, and then oxygen either lets you open the door to your potential or you don't get that potential because it requires fuel.
Right.
Everybody understands of electrolytes and, right, how do I fuel? But people don't say, oh, let me stop. Let me measure my CO2. Let me measure my oxygen. I wonder what my nitric oxide is going today.
Right.
Oh, no, we go into fuel. But our breathing, the biochemistry of breathing, produces ATP.
Right.
Well, ATP is the foundation of every cell that produces energy.
Right.
So the question is, do you want 4 molecules or do you want 36 molecules? That's a
Right.
big number.
Right.
So you add the firing potential of electricity and the fuel from oxygen and CO2, now you have combustion. And as an athlete, you know when you got combustion and you know when you don't.
Right.
You know when the tank is empty,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So we push through our zones sometimes. Okay.
Right. And the zones you're talking like anaerobic metabolism, oxidative phosphorylation.
All those things. But
Yeah.
let's just say the way I look at it is the second you go into mouth breathing,
Yep.
you are out of gas
Right.
and you're going to live off of adrenaline.
Right.
Well, voila, you're going to go into adrenal fatigue.
Right.
So how many times can we not recuperate or heal because of adrenal fatigue?
Right.
So what I do is I work with the autonomic nervous system, which is automatic.
Right.
Okay, so if it's set at a dysfunctional setting, you're going to not get the results you could get.
Right.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and part of that are 12 cranial nerves. The 12 cranial nerves organize everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at what starts the ball rolling, they all start the ball rolling.
Right.
But then they have to work into sequence to get to your potential.
Okay.
So if you're 70% firing, it's not like you get a 70% potential. If there's 70% firing, you may be down at a 10% potential. Because
Right.
if one cranial nerve that measures oxygen, if it's not doing its job, you may be running around at 92% oxygen in your resting state.
Right.
Your brain is going to be in fight and fright.
Right. Right.
So you're going to be living off of cortisol.
Right.
We know what cortisol does.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, da-da, right? But whoever thought oxygen is a contributing factor?
Right. Right. So when you say the sequence, these 12 cranial nerves, they communicate just
Up and down.
up and down.
And then they have their own friend loops. So,
Okay.
some different ones go to the eyes, different
Got
one
it.
goes to the nose,
Got
different
it.
ones have to work together for the tongue.
Right.
They have to work together for the lips, the throat.
Right. And so what we're saying too is like, I think we're talking about mouth breathing at rest. So if I'm
And even performance.
and then in performance, right? So there's kind of these two groups. And now I think, I've said before, one of the reasons why the really overweight guy that's stuck on the couch feels like he's running a marathon when he goes up the stairs is because he almost is, right? So physiologically, his
Correct.
relationship with oxygen at that moment might be similar to the guy that's running the marathon.
100%.
That's kind of what you're saying.
Exactly. Exactly. And so many times then we add judgment, right?
Right.
And we have bias.
Right.
And what if his poor cranial nerve got smushed when he fell off his bike when he was 5 and his brain can't regulate oxygen?
Right.
Shouldn't we help that out first before we pass judgment on why the couch is his best friend?
Right.
He's out of steam.
Right.
So here's the dance. Your brainstem runs involuntarily.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's no intelligence in the brainstem. It's just these little switches and it does its own thing. So if you're low on oxygen, your brainstem will pick you up and take you to the local area it can grab sugar. The brain has to live.
Yeah.
Low oxygen, no worries. I'll take you to McDonald's.
Anaerobic. Yeah.
So you will go down a different road.
Right.
And they can't stop because they don't have fuel.
Right.
So I have helped thousands and thousands of people. When we get the oxygen regulated, the 12 cranial nerves are doing their proper job.
Right.
All of a sudden, they don't have a sweet tooth.
Right.
Now they're ready for the next step, which is what? Let's work on fuel.
Right.
Let's work on food.
Right.
Let's work on that. But if they don't have enough oxygen, they're not going to be able to succeed in a program about food.
Right. And even worse, when that person that feels that judgment
Yes.
thinks that, in order to make a change, it's got to be that really hard workout 3 days a week. It's like if you're not on the couch, you're training for a triathlon, and it's a square peg in a round hole.
Correct. So sometimes the whole key is you got to activate the 12 cranial nerves. Then you go into the next step of walking. So most of the time I give them some type of a similar like a shopping cart so they can hang on to it.
Okay.
And all they have to do is walk at the rate they can breathe through their nose for 5 minutes.
Okay.
We do that once a day for 45 days.
Okay.
If they never exceed and make their metabolism to where they have to breathe through their mouth, if they just stick to nasal breathing for 45 days, I can now put them on a treadmill for nasal breathing for 45 minutes. Okay,
Got it.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
But not many of us, when we see what? All these people transform on TV.
Right.
We want it.
Yeah.
Okay? But the reality is 5 minutes a day is what that brain needs to learn a new pattern because the pattern is oxygen.
Right.
There's nothing more important.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
But people don't really want to be encouraged to do that. And most people honestly don't know.
Right.
They don't know.
So now, just to level set, if somebody is sitting at a desk 8 to 9 hours a day, you're saying 5 minutes a day can be enough to sort of stimulate these cranial nerves in a direction that would help them then be more efficient at the desk tomorrow.
That, and you have to actually activate your cranial nerves. That is more like utilizing a functional motion.
Okay.
So walking with your lips together, your tongue on the roof of your mouth.
I got my coffee stirrers.
Yep. Put something between your teeth. If you don't have anything, use your own tongue.
Okay.
Get those teeth separated so that that airway is slightly larger.
Got it.
Okay?
Yep. Can you go into that a little bit more? Because I think that this is, we have a mutual friend, Brent, that has recommended just so many books. He connected us. It's funny, actually. So for the listeners, Brent, I do a lot of breathing work, especially with athletes. And he said, oh my gosh, you do breathing? Lois does breathing. And then we got on the phone and your brain. Breathing is, it's not what you're necessarily leading in with, right? But it was too funny because, we end up Skyping and 20 minutes later, you're holding a puppet. Amelia's crying. I'm wondering what's going on here. So.
Me too. I mean, holy doggone.
Yeah. So, okay. So now when we activate the cranial nerves, we start breathing, right? Can you talk about jaw position? One of the books, Jaws, which I think I'm about 20, I got 20% left. That book has just been so amazing. And I think it's very similar to what you're preaching here. Something between the teeth. What exactly is that doing? I know you said expands the airway.
Right. The biggest thing is cranial nerve number 5 is what your teeth are.
Okay.
It's called the trigeminal. It has 3 branches. It is the biggest cranial nerve. It's humongous. Okay?
In cranial nerve terms.
Oh, it's humongous in any term.
Really?
Oh, yes. And it draws tons of electricity.
Got it.
So think of grinding. Okay, the teeth are moving. It's drawing all the electricity off. The neighbors are having a brownout.
Got it.
So this is the potential. All we have to do is get cranial nerve number 5 in neutral, because clearly in the middle of the night, you're not eating.
Right.
Okay, but your little teeth are just chomping away, doing
Right.
all this kind of activity. And those signals go down your entire spinal column.
Right.
So your whole body is having this amazing workout at night, all through high level sympathetic electricity. Okay? So you're not resting.
Right.
You're not digesting. You're not absorbing nutrients. You're not having all your stages of sleep because you have the wrong electrical current.
Wow.
So you have nerves that have to do the job. Then they have to have the right electrical current.
Right.
Then you have to have a battery that holds its charge. I mean, there's a whole bunch of very electrical events that need to happen.
Right.
Okay, but going back to your jaw, your teeth have to be separate. Now, think about if the tooth is crooked, if you're missing a tooth, sometimes teeth shift. So there's a lot of reasons that everybody can't do the exact same thing.
Right.
But if you use these certain principles, you're going to create more surface that the tongue has space to come forward a little bit out of your airway so at least air can flow. Now, air still has to come in through the nose. It still has to go back through the back of the nose. It has to go down by your soft palate. It has to get all the way down. And all the cranial nerves have to work very rhythmically, very sequentially in order to make that happen. But if the back of the nose, that cranial nerve decides to go, oh, I'm in reverse today, let me close when the front of the nose opens.
Right.
What are you going to do? You're going to gasp and open your mouth.
Right.
Do you see? So we have to have synchronization.
Yeah.
And the synchronization, you have to have it between your right brain and your left brain.
Right.
So there's a lot of different things going on. So one of the tests you can do is just breathe in through your nose. And if you had a video camera or videoed yourself or trusted a friend to video you, you could see in half the people when they breathe in, their nasal valves, the little nostrils, collapse. Okay, clearly that's reverse. When you breathe in, your nostrils should dilate.
Expand, yeah.
Okay? So that's a super easy thing to check for yourself.
Right.
And if you're in reverse, your
Right.
entire neurological system is in reverse.
Right.
No wonder you feel like crap. No
Right.
wonder you can't stay asleep. No wonder you gain weight. No wonder your metabolism's down the cooker.
Right.
You've been to everybody. You've done everything. You've been to self-help. But your nervous system, your brainstem is in reverse.
Right.
Good luck.
Oh my! And it's similar to paradoxical breathing, right? Is there a relationship there with like somebody that takes a big breath in, and their stomach actually gets skinnier?
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, right. And that's even more out of sync.
Right.
But it still starts at the very beginning, which is what's going on at the tip of your nose. And those nerves have to get in sync. Then the middle part has to work. The
Right.
posterior part has to work. And then it again goes all the way down.
Right.
So things interrupt the natural sequence.
Right.
And then that's what you have to rebuild. We
Right.
love the story when what? A person comes in, we get 6 cranial nerves back on firing. They have this epiphany. Life is wonderful. Their nose opens. They swallow. They're like, oh my God, I feel like $1,000,000. And they leave and they're happily ever after.
Right.
And then there's the person who goes, I've been working on this for 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. You've been through 7 surgeries.
Right.
You've had 5 car accidents.
Right.
You've had a near drowning. Yeah.
Right.
That's going to take some time to unravel.
So cranial nerve 5
Yep.
has kind of extreme importance, right? So I
Yes.
imagine that's probably where you start a lot of people.
Nope.
No?
You
Okay.
just get to something between their teeth.
But it gets something between their teeth. And so if someone is a grinder at night,
Mm-hmm.
is it a mouth guard? Is
Nope.
there a, what's the,
Popsicle stick.
while you're sleeping?
Well, no. They have to practice during the day.
Okay. Okay. Practice during the day.
So here's the fun part. When you get a cranial nerve on,
Yeah.
you now have to do a natural motion.
Okay.
Okay? So let's talk about human performance now.
Great.
One of my favorite things. I can take human performance and in 4 days, they will learn what most doctors learn in 16 days
Okay.
because they know how to watch their client.
Right.
They've been part of human transformation,
Right.
right? What you don't realize is in so many professions, we lose patients,
Right.
okay? We don't get to be a part of their human transformation because there's a lot of things going on and they need multiple people to help them and they don't always make the strides that we would hope for.
Right. Right. They want to
Okay.
get fast, so they start running more.
Right.
Yeah.
So think about the person on the couch usually hasn't joined a gym,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So human performance get the people who are self-motivated
Right.
for whatever reason,
Right.
right? Okay,
Mhm.
so you've got them and you know motion.
Right.
So remember, brain stems only work on natural motion.
Right.
So we can't go sit on a bench and lift weight.
Right.
Now, you can do that for your bicep. You
Right.
can do that for an isolated, not a brain stem. So if you have a brain stem that has a hard time regulating oxygen, we have to stick to natural motion. All I have to do is tell anybody in human performance that, give them a stick and say, you do the reps until the mouth opens. And then we stop. It's really simple. It's really, really simple.
It's so when we say natural movements, then so we have walking.
Yeah.
And then is it what? Is it hinge, squat?
Is that natural?
I would say it's
Ye-
pretty natural.
Exactly. But it should be on grass.
Right.
Shouldn't be on
Oh, you'd love
carpeting.
my gym then.
Exactly.
Front yard.
Exactly. So
Okay.
we have to recreate the playground.
The playground. This is amazing. Okay, so I'm a kettlebell athlete.
Exactly.
All right.
Don't carry 2, carry 1.
This was one of the first things you said to me, that if you were born in the US, you can't do a 2-arm swing.
Rarely. Rarely.
Which is can you
Okay.
dive into that? But I do want to go into the grass thing.
Okay.
Because an interesting this thing that I do quite often is this Russian kettlebell challenge,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's 100 snatches and 5. You're familiar. You're familiar with the RKC.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's funny is all my workouts are barefoot in grass.
Correct. 10 bonus points.
Well, when I show up at the actual event, I crush whatever my best time was at home, because when you've been barefoot in grass doing this 53
it's
pound,
harder.
you get onto a concrete floor with a gym mat on it,
Right.
and it's like I've shaved minutes off my 5-minute test. My last
Right.
test was 3:37,
Right.
and 2 weeks before I went, it was over 6 minutes.
Yes.
So tell me about the grass, and then let's dive into why most American made human beings can't do a 2-arm swing.
Right. So I look at a progression.
Okay.
Right? So the first progression is your cranial nerves have to work. That's your brainstem.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're going to go into natural motion and you're going to train, let's say. Okay. But think about this. Let's suppose we're going back to our friend who didn't have enough oxygen and was watching TV on the couch.
Right.
Okay. We're going to teach. He's got to learn.
Right.
So in a learning stage, you have to have what? Natural motion in a natural environment, the best we can.
Right.
Okay. When you're inside or something else, we could still have you fit, on some type of sensory mat, and you could still be looking out the window at a tree that's moving. Right. We have ideal and then still get as natural as you can.
Yeah.
So now they learn a natural motion.
Okay.
Okay. And of course, they have to breathe while they're doing this natural motion. If you make sound when you breathe, you are already in autonomic distress.
Uh-oh, I just breathed pretty loud.
But you learned, and I said it, and your brain goes, oh my God, that's me.
Breathe quiet.
Well, the key is silently. If you are a silent breather, you're going to be able to tap in to the potential of 100 million billion signals per millisecond.
You almost have to put the pinky to the side of the mouth.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, just sit there and go, yep, that's it.
Right.
Okay, the physics, they'll sit there and show you how all of this is amazing. It's waiting for you. It's counterculture, however.
Right.
Okay, but let's go back to learning. We have to learn it.
Right.
Now we need to practice. We still should practice the natural motion so the body knows how to squat, the body knows how to crawl, the body knows how to move, the body knows how to do all these things. Okay, looks like jungle gym.
Right.
The body gets to play.
Right.
Because if it's playful, do you know children learn 10 times faster? And then we do this amazing thing. We let them play in mud and we let them play in water.
Children learn 10 times faster than adults, or when they're not in an educational setting?
When they're playing
Right.
versus an educational setting.
Right.
Okay. Okay. No schools. Darn.
I'm a big fan of that. I think,
yeah.
Increasingly I've been setting timers as opposed to counting reps. So 3 to 5 minutes
Yes.
of exercise, however many you do well. Now I'll let my mouth be the decider, and maybe and it'll save me from having my phone with me, which is great.
Yeah.
So most people's kind of going back one step. So most people that have brainstem dysfunction,
In some capacity, yeah.
in some capacity, is it, and I imagine there's a little chicken or the egg. Is it, we did a lot of mouth breathing, so we elicited dysfunction, or is it like you kind of said, I can't remember if this was on or not at that time, but or I fell off my bike and hit my head, I have a trauma, it triggered this domino effect in motion. So
Right.
more frequently, is it like a trauma, something my dad said, or is it I sat on the couch, I let my chin drop, I started mouth breathing, I fed a system? What's more common?
Well, I am going to go back and come up with all the statistics, and then I will come back with an accurate answer.
61%.
Exactly. 71.5% of our viewers voted this way. No.
Like if 10 people came into your place,
Right.
is it dad, or is it the bike accident?
Okay.
Or is it just I was lazy?
No. Because dogs don't have to go to school to learn how to breathe.
True.
Okay. But it's not fair to compare mammal to mammal, but the concept was there. So here's a different way. There are so many unnatural things that our human brainstem is exposed to that it doesn't get to fully sync up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's our limitation.
Got it.
Okay. Yes, I can adapt to different things. Brainstems really don't care what people say. Okay. So that's your emotions and your beliefs and other things. Okay. But if I have a high level emotional event, my brain perceives I am under attack.
Right.
Okay. Now my brainstem goes, holy crap, you could die if this attack continues.
Right.
So now that goes in a domino effect.
Right.
Now the cranial nerve starts shutting down.
Right.
Do you see? So that's how that goes in.
Right. It's like the blood goes to the extremities, and brainstem says, I don't need 4, I don't need 8.
Well, it goes even worse. So the first thing the brainstem says is, I'm in shock and I will swell my nasal passages. Okay? So in your nose, you actually have a rectal tissue and it swells instantly because the brainstem is in a state of shock.
Is that most of the quote unquote deviated septums that people deal with? Is it just a inflated?
Not necessarily the deviation, but the limitation for air to go through the nose,
Right.
yes.
Most people that have self-diagnosed
Right,
breathing issues.
right. But, you take an x-ray and you peek in there and you see what's going on.
Right.
But do we want to go into deviations or do we want to stay on the other track?
Stay on the other track. Stay on the other track. I don't mean to.
I know we can go in lots of different ways, so you just got to tell me where I'm dancing
When you
now.
walked in, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be a 7-hour show or what. I mean, I had so many questions.
Well, we're going to go down a lot of them because they're all relevant.
Right. Let's stay on track.
So
though.
we're going to go back to shock. Okay.
Let's stick with
So
shock.
let's look at what's a realistic shock for a kid is that their pet dies.
Okay.
That's a huge shock to a child.
Right.
Even adult. None of us want that. But when it happens, if we go into a shock, our nose swells, our jaw drops, and we hold our breath. That is the position, the physiological impact of shock. Okay?
Yep.
So unless something intervenes, that is our new norm.
Right.
Now everything becomes that way. So let's think about a traumatic birth. Something could happen, or the cord around the neck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, falling down and hitting our head. That's shock.
Right.
What is the brain going to do? Swell the nose. Okay, so there's these reflexes that occur without your permission. All of this is involuntary.
Right.
But if you understand it, then you understand how to turn it back on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is normal. Your brainstem did an amazing job.
Right.
But shock is gone. Let's reintegrate, get it back on board, and move on.
So if the pet dies, what?
We instantly put a Q-tip up your nose.
Is that the solution?
Well, it is a solution.
I feel like I'm going to be walking around tomorrow with like coffee stirrers in my teeth and Q-tips up my nose.
Why not? Why
pushing
not?
a shopping cart
Yes.
through the gym.
But make sure you hum.
Oh my God. Okay. So let's go back real quick to a traumatic birth.
Yeah.
Because I know that you do some rebirthing for people that have had traumatic births.
But put it back. I have to resync the cranial nerve in the environment that it needs to function. So in water, your brain learns so much faster that if I take you to water, not every day I can work with a tumbling, rolling pattern with a 350-pound male.
Right.
But in the water, I have a really good chance. And I stand on my tiptoes.
So what does the water do? And
well, it creates
it
buoyancy.
gets rid of gravity, right?
Right.
So
right. And so we can do a rolling pattern in water, and that can resync a lot of cranial nerves.
Right.
And then all you have to do is hum through your nose, which is inside the air, right? You breathe in through your nose, hold your nose, go through a rolling pattern as you exhale through your nose. And if you hum, things are moving in your throat, up your nose, because we're trying to get air out.
So if you're not 350 pounds or in the pool, this is like the Great Cook, like elbow to knee rolling or lower body rolling or upper body rolling?
Both of them, yeah.
And then
and they also have to do like a tumbling roll, a forward roll and a backward roll. Because again, that resets the vestibular system.
Got it.
In some cases, I mean, you have to do an assessment first before you just jump in for everybody.
Right. Okay.
But no, rolling patterns can fix so many things. It's probably, besides nasal breathing, it's amazing.
Interesting.
I do it with every single human I take care of.
That's amazing. So tumbling forward, back. Popsicle stick between the teeth?
Or something.
Or something?
We either customize it for you or the popsicle stick is usually accessible quite easily.
Right. Yeah. Well, at Starbucks a little while ago, I grabbed a couple
Exactly.
extras. So, and then it's an exhale hum
Mm-hmm.
throughout the duration of
Correct.
the roll.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
And at the end of whatever you're doing, you wait for your brain to find your swallow because you just did it.
Yeah. Well, I knew where you were going. I Googled before we got on the show, I Googled like your name and like file type PDF. Like I was just trying to find anything you'd put out. And I saw something where it was like you did a webinar or something. And it was like alternate nostril breathing or single nostril breathing,
Mm-hmm.
hum the exhale, swallow. So I knew it was coming. I knew
Yep.
it was coming.
Yep, because what we're doing, again, we're turning on natural function
Right.
and we're recreating the sequence of natural function.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
everything we're doing electrically through the cranial nerves and the brainstem, we aren't addressing anatomy because electrical signals are our first step of function.
Right.
Most importantly, we got to get oxygen. So when you hum, if you hum through your nose, after you've breathed in through your nose, you're going to get 18 to 20% more oxygen in your brain.
Amazing.
Talk about a biohack.
Hey,
Yeah, we'll get you there in less than 60 seconds.
turn up their volumes.
I know.
But why can't I put two hands on a kettlebell?
Well, okay. You can, but you got to pass your cranial nerve exam while you're doing it.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to work up to it.
Okay.
All right, because typically the culture in Russia is that they take their babies
Mm-hmm.
and they dip them in cold water after they're born to reset their autonomic nervous system.
Is that like baby is born straight into the ice bath
That I don't know. I
Okay.
would say the first day.
within the first day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they're having any problems breathing, you do it right away. Now, if you want to watch Dr. Pohl, this very famous veterinarian, anytime a calf is born and the calf isn't breathing, they throw cold water on him and the calf starts breathing.
Hmm.
Okay. This has been around for centuries.
Right. Because you mentioned this in passing on that Skype call where you had the puppet and Amelia was crying. And I've mentioned it to a couple of people and they think I'm crazy.
Correct. Americans think it's crazy. But if you talk to veterinarians and you talk to people on how to do things,
Yeah.
and if you, without bias,
I couldn't really back it up either. I'm
Right,
just like,
but
oh,
without-
Lois said to do it.
exactly. There, thank you. Oh, I can't wait for the fan mail. Appreciate that. You're now on my not friend list. But anyway, you go back and you look at cultures and why do they do things? Okay.
Right.
My culture's Swedish. All my family, they have a stuga and they go in there in the hot and they run out and jump into the ice water.
Is this a stuga? Is that a sauna?
The sauna is in the stuga. A stuga is a little tiny bitty, we would call them tiny houses now.
Okay. Okay.
Everybody has a stuga.
That's amazing.
Yep, it's right by a lovely lake that's very cold in the wintertime.
I bet.
And they do it all the time,
Right.
okay? And that is your autonomics, cold and hot.
Right.
So now you have to go to a spa and pay $500 for it,
Oh,
or
no.
just jump in a lake.
Right. So actually, I get this question a ton because I do a lot of hot cold.
Mm-hmm.
How long are you in the stuga and how long are you in the cold?
You know what? I would
Many
do.
differences of opinion.
And what about if we customized it for you? Okay. And that's based upon heart rate variability. So I would do a cranial nerve exam. It's based upon your oxygen, your CO2,
Got it.
okay, your heart rate variability, how much potential do you have? And all you have to do is have something between your teeth and hum, and your brain will perform 100 million billion signals per millisecond for you.
Amazing. Amazing. So what other right at birth things would you do that people would think you're nuts to bring up? So in other words, like
So it means they're unexposed to normal science.
unexposed normal
Okay.
science. So like if there was a baby being born right here.
Well, the first thing we do is mom gets.
We got the ice bath
Mom
ready.
gets. Yeah, oh, right. Thanks. We're in Arizona. Who wants to go through the ice bath, right? So the first thing is mom needs to be in a natural position.
Okay.
Okay. So 99% of the time they are not respected to be given in a position that's natural for them.
Right.
How about if we use gravity?
Okay.
So, a lot of moms can squat,
Mm-hmm.
but in order to do that, moms have to learn to squat.
Right.
So what most people don't know is the way women have supported women in natural childbirth for many, 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 many years is that you interlock arms, you hold, and you squat, and you come up. So I teach everyone in my
Holy
classes.
smokes.
Yeah, I teach everyone in my class how you are supposed to learn to squat.
And
And
that's
you need another human.
but you're also saying that's how you would give birth vertically.
You could.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like it.
Mom gets to choose. What
Right.
a concept. Yeah. But the other person is there. Mom's just not hanging out in the middle of the room squatting.
Right.
Let's be real. Okay. They have support for them. They have kneeling things. You can be quadruped. A lot of my athletes deliver quadruped
Yep.
because they have practiced and they can do all their natural functional movement.
Mhm.
They've mastered it. It works for them. God love them. Go for it. But you have to do something that allows the mother to, if possible, catch her own baby.
You know what's so bizarre is we know somebody that just had a baby and she had this grandiose plan for a water birth at home and she's got the doulas and it was a long, laborious process. She ends up by herself, just intuitively in quadruped,
Perfect.
no one else in the room,
Perfect.
and she caught her own baby.
Perfect. Congratulations. I want to shake her hand.
Oh my gosh. All right, I'll connect you with her. Her name's
Yeah,
Rachel. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Because what did she do? She trusted
She
herself.
yeah, exactly.
And that is a cranial nerve.
And how about that for just a kind of bonding with your new baby?
Right. Because baby gets all of its cues off of whoever touches it.
Right.
So if a fear-based person is the
Mm.
first person to handle your baby,
Wow.
and nothing against the nursing profession, but you've heard of Nurse Ratchet, right? They always have to follow the rules and they have to do all this kind of stuff and blah, 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 blah. Well, their rules may not be up to date. Doesn't matter.
Right.
We want somebody who's there for compassion, understand this is a natural process. Trust moms, educate moms, support moms, train moms,
Right.
so their body can produce for them the most natural thing.
Right.
Okay? And it's following mom's tuition. Let mom catch baby.
Right.
When all the
That's so-
blood,
yeah.
when all the blood, talk about a kettlebell. If you can use kettlebell, you can catch a baby.
Sure.
And then when all the blood is stopped pulsing through the cord, okay, now baby gets its own blood back. Okay?
Okay.
So you know how babies a lot of times lose some weight after birth?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because a lot of times if the cord's cut right away, the baby doesn't get all the blood back to the baby.
Right.
Why don't we let nature take off, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's a time and mom's talking to baby, baby's looking at mom, bonding, dad's there if that's appropriate.
Right.
Because everybody's got to feel good about this instead
Right.
of what we should be doing.
Well, cutting a cord, and not to derail us, but cutting the cord is a big topic that I've chatted a lot about with different folks and read about. How long do you wait? Just
Good.
until it stops pumping?
Yeah,
Okay, because I was in a conversation the other day, and they said you carry it around for a month.
some people do. Okay,
Yeah.
and
That
but
seemed
but
a little
well, but the
little tough.
placenta has to come out.
right.
Okay, there's a lot of steps that have to happen. We're just talking about global concepts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
High level.
because there's
Be careful. I'll take us.
Ah,
I'll take us.
I know. Because there's
Everywhere.
so many situations that you want the person who's right there to give you all of the details.
Yeah.
What's right for you? And I'm not going to judge any culture because there's people out there that know so much more than I do about this. But people don't understand the basic principles of
Right.
why you should do it.
Which
Because where is the oxygen? In the blood.
right.
Give Junior his fair share
Right.
or her fair share.
Right.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take?
People say anywhere from 3 minutes to 20 minutes.
Okay.
That's just a global concept.
Right. So wait a half hour. Be safe.
I don't know. Just watch. How about when it quits pumping?
Yeah. I've never watched a
Me either.
umbilical cord
But
pump.
yeah, there's videos everywhere. YouTube, you do it. It's there.
I'm afraid to YouTube. that.
I know. Well, you never know. But anyway, what were we talking about before we got to the court?
Well, it was the crazy things that you would do.
I
if-
let the mom go in there.
let the mom
let-
catch
yep,
her own baby. Don't cut the cord.
right? And then nobody touches baby for 24 hours
Except mom?
except mom.
Or what about dad?
Dad can be there.
If dad's cool.
Right, but you have to have skin-to-skin contact.
Okay.
Okay, so Germany's got it right. They have this huge delivery room, king-size bed. Mom and dad are naked. Hang out.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, hello, baby got here this way, so
Right.
why not baby continue this way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's super cool.
Yeah, and anytime if there was necessary medical interventions,
Mm-hmm.
it's still on mom's body
Right.
because that baby regulates its cranial nerves, its natural function off of mother's heartbeat.
Well, wait. Say that. What?
It regulates.
So that's why it has to be right here.
Yes. Yeah. It knows that heartbeat. It knows how moms breathe. It knows everything. And so let's take that baby. And now the baby has to go through this amazing change, right? Going from a fish to now this little human.
Right.
And that's a big shock, right?
From fish to human.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
big temperature differentiation, right? Sensory is now totally different. So if I learn my sensory system of my skin, if I learn that from my mom, it's a natural transition of information. Okay? And then you clean up baby as the time goes. I mean, babies don't have to be cleaned up in order to be presented to the mom.
Right.
I mean, that's a very medical.
Right.
Yeah, after
Right.
surgery. Okay, well,
Right.
this isn't surgery and this is natural.
Yeah. So it's kind of blowing my mind here, but baby is in mom.
Yep.
Baby is best friends with mom's heart. This is
right.
insane to me.
Right.
So from the energetic side of things, when mom is a stressed out attorney her whole pregnancy, or mom's like I call diet everything that goes in, and that's like food, but that's also thoughts, and that's
Right.
our surroundings and the
Right.
averages of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And like now I'm like starting to make some connections here.
Right, because in our perfect world, we go back even further and evaluate mom's metabolism.
Right.
What's mom's sleep?
Right.
What's mom's CO2 and her oxygen and her cranial nerve? Get her to be the strongest incubator before she's required to be an incubator.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
So what is like the ideal and
Well, the ideal is probably before you are ready.
preconception?
Preconception.
Yeah.
You go and you find out a lot of information about your liver. Okay? Liver
I wasn't
has
expecting
to
that.
process.
Yeah.
Okay? So you could be exposed to heavy metals
Right.
somewhere in your life. Well, that's going to slow down your liver function. Okay? So when you're pregnant, mom's liver has to work a little harder.
Right.
So let's make sure it's in good shape.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. And then let's make sure there's all these different things of how you methylate, which is different types of vitamin B.
Mhm.
But what is mom's condition? Because everyone thinks, what? Oh, this is new. I'll just do it.
Right.
Well, maybe you don't need it. Maybe you need a different kind. So you need a functional medicine professional to support based upon blood tests, based upon things, what's good for you, and to help you detox if you've been exposed to a lot of aluminum, right?
Right.
Aluminum's in deodorants. Women shave,
Right.
put the deodorant right on that fresh area, and now you're going to absorb aluminum.
Right.
So aluminum is real.
Right.
We got to look at, let's maybe get that out of our system.
Is that like the biggest?
It's the
just
most
'cause it's-
common.
it's in all the beauty
common.
stuff and-
Yeah, it's common. But there could be other things. I mean, who knows? They could have
Right.
been, their water treatment plant when they were a kid was close to a paint plant. There could be some lead. Who
Right.
knows?
And I would imagine at some point, and we won't go down this road, but if someone were to have trouble conceiving, could it be some of this? Like nature's like the liver is not clean enough.
Maybe. And the other thing is a lot of women, because they are in shape,
Mhm.
but they also have a sleep disorder.
Right.
Okay. So again, we first talked about the person on the couch who just walking up the stairs is a big deal.
Right.
That's you say, oh yeah, he may have a sleep disorder. But the fit woman, no one ever says, oh, she could have a sleep disorder. But if she's mouth breathing, if she
Mhm.
wakes up tired, and all these other things, she may not be getting oxygen all night long.
Right.
That's going to be very hard to carry a baby.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
that's what we care about. Now I'm going to take you back in time a little bit.
Okay. I'm going.
Okay.
I'm strapped in.
Yep. Locked and loaded. My family physician, okay, was this wonderful man named Dr. Rothenberg. He had great big mustache that handled, almost scared you to death, but he was so kind. But he
Yeah.
just had that,
Is
ominous
this
look.
Is this in the U.S. or is this in
Yeah,
Sweden?
no. Oh, no, this is in the United States.
Okay. I
Anyway.
was going to say handlebars in Sweden might be rare.
Yeah, well, you never know. Could start a new trend. So back to Dr. Rothenberg. He would be in there and he would talk because I knew a lot about cranial nerves and puppies because I raised puppies and I made sure all my puppies lived and I did little CPR on my puppies.
I heard the story on one thing I found of yours.
Oh, I just love puppies. Anyway, so I'm going. So then when I was the hot thing to be the babysitter because if I can handle puppies and puppies can sleep, let me have your baby. I'll help your baby to sleep. So sure enough, in our little town, but if they were tongue-tied or babies had a problem, I would go to Dr. Rothenberg because, of course, HIPAA wasn't around back then.
Right.
And we'd just talk to him and he'd say, and he would just shake his head and he goes, well, the baby's got a smashed head, Lois. And, of course, we could say things like that back then. And then I look and he goes, I bet that mom is driving one of those automatic cars. And I said, well, what about that? He goes, well, babies' heads are always going to get smashed when women drive an automatic car. They need to drive a stick shift because otherwise, how is their pelvis ever going to be straight? So if their pelvis is a little crooked, that baby's head's going to get smushed. And
Wow.
I'm a kid and I'm like, well, that makes sense.
How old were you at this point?
12, 13. So, of course, my first car was a stick shift because I paid attention to Dr. Rothenberg because I wanted straight hips.
Hell yeah.
And we don't even think about that in human performance.
No way.
It's our cars.
Right.
Our cars are twisting hips for women.
Jesus.
Not even that.
And
You
ladies
look,
hate stick shifts.
well,
Not to generalize. I'm sorry.
I
But,
understand. Well, it's an inconvenience.
Right.
Right. Natural function sometimes is an
I hope that didn't
inconvenience.
make me sound like a jerk.
No, I didn't take it that way at all.
I have a sister, my mom,
Anybody
my
can.
dad and my brother would buy a stick shift. My sister and my mom would not.
Right, right. But what happens is that would be one of the unintended consequences
Right.
of progress.
Right.
It's 100% unintended.
Right.
But good old Dr. Rothenberg, he goes, I can tell the women that have a stick shift because their babies' heads are nice and round.
All right, ladies, time to switch to sticks. You can't even find stick shifts anymore.
I don't
It's
even know
crazy.
if they make them anymore.
It's very rare. I think you can get like Jeep Wranglers and but
okay.
because you mentioned tongue tied,
Yeah.
there was another little thing, and I don't know if it was that book or another book or one of the things that you do right when the baby's born that we don't do in hospitals is like the finger in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about that? And then what is tongue tied? Because it's not literally in a knot. And I think it would be
Right.
helpful for people because
Right. So let's go back to the perfect, wonderful world.
perfect. Yeah.
Mom catches baby.
Mom catches baby.
And mom would hold baby. Baby would get regulated. And if you watch baby when they're getting regulated, they discover their tongue. Okay. So they discover their tongue really before they see because it's out of sequence and necessity. Baby needs to learn to nurse, right? Baby has to learn to nurse.
Baby didn't know tongue was there when it was inside.
Right,
Mom.
right. Because it's just this
didn't
water
need it.
and it's just going everywhere. And
Got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's a fish.
Yeah.
Got it.
So baby you just watch that baby and that tongue and it starts moving. And if the tongue can't move, as you know, in human performance, our first job is to what? Eliminate asymmetries. So we watch the tongue and see if it can move in a symmetrical way, very gently.
Got it.
Okay. If it's not, you want to loosen the tongue. So,
That sounds scary.
oh, doesn't it? It's so exciting. You have a finger known as your pinky,
Mhm.
and you go in there and you go underneath and you just gently go underneath the tongue and loosen it. Okay.
In babies.
In babies. Well, I do it to every human, but we'll
Should I
start with
warm up
baby.
for my next workout with that, or-
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We'll do it really quick before I go today.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be perfect for the double kettlebell then.
Okay, amazing.
So you got to get under the tongue and loosen it. But you also, if you do a sequence, you will activate cranial nerves,
Okay.
which of course is my best friend.
That's your
activate
jam,
Oh, yeah, totally. So I call it the Swedish swirl because you've got to swoop, you've got to swirl, you got to suck, you got to swallow. And when you get all that activated, nasal breathing turns on. So you could do this before you cut the cord.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, think about that.
What's the sequence again?
Okay, so I'll tell you. What I do first, though, is like I'll show people with a Q-tip. Okay, so the Q-tip starts like over on the lower right side, let's say where a wisdom tooth would be an adult.
Yep.
Okay, and you just gently go all the way around at the base of where the bone that holds the teeth to where the cheek kind of goes into that. We call that the vestibule, which is a technical term, but it's down there. It's not by teeth.
Yeah.
So you just gently walk around, right? And you can feel that there's sometimes tightness one way. But if you just hold it there for truly maybe 10, 20 seconds, you'll feel the fascia soften.
Like a foam roller on their quads.
Yeah, this is your own permanent foam roller.
Holy
Never
smokes.
leave home without it.
I told you, the pinky.
I know.
$100 million billion.
I know. Darn, we're not going to get any royalties. Boogers. Okay, so you just walk around very slowly. Okay, then go to the upper, go all the way around.
And this is the Swedish swirl.
Oh, yeah, we just swirled the mouth.
Okay, we did that.
Now we're going to swoop under the tongue.
Oh, boy.
So now we're going to go back like where your wisdom tooth would be again.
Yep.
And you gently go the space between the tongue. And in babies, it's a ridge, or in you would be a tooth. And you say same thing. You hold it there. Sometimes you will actually feel like a little knot.
On the tooth?
No, between
Okay.
the tooth and the tongue.
Okay, I'm sorry.
In the little soft spot.
Got it.
Okay? But sometimes it's just rock hard.
Right.
And again, you just gently hold and it will soften. And then you move along each little space and then you go all the way around. If the tongue is kind of stuck in there, you just wait. For any person, they will reflexively, the tongue will lift and move away.
Wow.
This is what we want. We want to activate natural function.
Right.
Okay? You just gently go all the way around. Then you go back and forth on the tongue, just gently, forward to back. I go kind of like you're vacuuming the tongue.
Right.
You know, you just gently, and of course, a little person's tongue doesn't take long.
Yeah.
A big person's tongue does not take long either. Just back and forth, and then the tongue starts to wiggle and move more. Then you go to the palate. You go back and forth on the palate, back and forth very gently. Then you hold it in the front, and the baby will naturally start sucking, and they suck from the back of the tongue.
Wow.
Okay? Then you've activated everything, and now the tongue starts to move, and you just wait, and you wait. And this is where you get the capital P for patience.
Right.
And you wait. Because baby's just gotten smushed and
Right.
be smushed.
Yeah.
We got to just wait for things to get in order. Most people don't have patience.
Right.
You just got to wait. And
There's
all of-
another baby to deliver in 10 minutes.
Exactly. In the room next door, let's go. So you just wait. That's why we teach moms to do this, right? Moms should do this for their baby. And then you just wait. And then all of a sudden the baby will just start sucking. And if you wait enough, on your index finger, babies have swallowed my entire finger. It goes all the way down because that's their activation on how to get things going.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? Because that's how they're going to nurse. They have to utilize their whole mouth and their throat.
Right.
Okay?
So you're reflexively
Yes.
activating all this stuff. Now,
Yep.
cost of not doing that
Well,
is
if the fascia gets twisted or stuck, then baby can't use their tongue naturally. And then they're going to cry. Then they swallow air. Then they get a tummy ache. And unnatural consequences
And they're
become the norm.
35-year-old mouth breather.
Possibly. Possibly.
Oh my God. Okay, so that's 4 things that you would do.
Right. Well, then they're going to suck and then they're going to swallow.
Yeah.
So that's the whole 5
But
steps.
you do this with adults.
I do it. Yes.
And now, so the tongue, okay,
Yeah.
and now because we have a mutual friend that saw you, and his tongue was actually, was it short? Was it tight?
Well, the space underneath. So you have an
Okay.
attachment.
Yep.
Okay. And it has many different things. Okay.
Right.
So the attachment could be in the middle of the tongue.
Yeah.
It could be forward. The technical term tongue tie is when it's on the tip. Okay, so the
Okay.
tip of the tongue, when you think about, is it the top of the tip? Is it straight on the tip? Is
Right.
it the bottom of the tip? Is it 2 millimeters
So
past?
where does it start?
There's all these little things,
Right.
right? So everything is unique. You
So-
know, just like our thumbprints, our
Yeah.
fingerprints are unique, so is the little attachments. And so we try to categorize them so insurance will pay and all these kind of things. That's great, but everyone is different.
Right.
Everyone's different. So we have that. Then it's how long is it? So how tall is it?
Mhm.
Because it has to attach somewhere on the floor of the mouth.
Right.
Does it go to the bone of the
Mhm.
mandible? Does it go through the bone to the front of the mandible? Does it go here, here? Is it crooked? Is it, you know, there's all these different ways to do it. But a lot of times you can loosen a lot of it. And then again, we want to activate function.
Right.
So if you wait enough, you will see magic happen. The nostrils will open. You will see nasal flare. And now baby can suck. So until you have nasal flare, nature can't take over.
Mhm.
So important. And you can see it.
Right.
You know, you don't need a stethoscope. You don't need equipment.
Right.
But
This
you
is
have
free medicine. This is like,
This is free medicine, and not only that, it is the foundation of your 100 million billion signals.
right. And the life that you're going to live for the next
Exactly, because who
80
wants a
years.
fussy baby? No, and the babies are struggling, and the moms are struggling. It's hard all the way around.
Right.
So that's a definition of kind of, in a general, non-visual way, kind of where tongues kind of move. But they can move a lot
Yeah.
because they move from the back forward.
Well, the tongue's pretty big, like way bigger than people think.
Well, it is, and it has a long, how it goes down the neck. It's
Yeah.
attached to bones. It's attached to a hyoid bone underneath that.
Right.
It's attached to the clavicle. So you look at what interrupts nature.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, the cord around the neck. Clearly, something's going to get smushed,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
The cord around the shoulder. Clearly,
Right.
the right nerves are not going to work the same as the left nerves. So
Right.
you have to get that so that the tongue can work, so that we can also get that reflex to open the nose.
Right. Is there a way to like reduce the instance of the cord being in an improper place?
That's such a good question. This is what I know. There's a wonderful program called Spinning Babies.
Spinning babies.
It is in, I can't tell you, but I think it's in almost every country in the
Really?
world. Yep.
Even this one?
I think this was one of the last ones that got on board. Yeah. So it's this really concept. It's called Women Helping Women, because they kind of know what it's like to be pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you've not been pregnant, you don't get to be a teacher. It's kind of one of those
It's a rule.
prerequisites. Yeah, it's kind of a rule.
Right.
Yeah. You kind of know what it's like on
Mhm.
the inside out before you
Right.
can get up there and help. And they have very natural, common sense approaches of how to put mom in different positions to let the legs become even, symmetrical stretching, how to help it, and then teach moms to feel to where is the baby? What's a head? What's an elbow?
Right.
Okay. And so they really work with the baby moving, bringing awareness. Okay. So you really, moms aren't, at a loss of what's going on inside of them.
Right.
It really gets them in touch with what's going inside of them.
Right.
And then they use different long scarves to kind of stretch the baby. They kind of wrap a scarf around baby and they kind of move a little to the left and then they
This
move.
is going on the whole pregnancy.
Oh, yeah,
It's a little bit like dream birth.
it is.
Might be in there. I'm not too far into that book.
Yeah. But that's the whole cool part is this. And it sets moms up for what? Symmetrical.
Right.
Okay. There's another very common thing. It's called hypnobirthing.
Hypnobirthing.
Hypnobirthing, they look to how to recreate nature, and they do some of my nasal breathing protocols in there, and they utilize to right now, they are like at 100% natural birth
Holy smokes.
because they're working. Now, they don't take the high risk pregnant. I mean,
Yeah.
let's understand, but they're really excited because they have coaching, and coaching comes from mentorship, right? Yeah,
So
we can only
is this like doulas and midwives?
They
and...
can. They're everybody, but it's a whole program.
Got it.
It's hypnobirthing program.
Hmm.
Okay, and you can find them almost everywhere in the United States. And it's a process. And the big thing that they do is, you went back and you were talking about the high level pregnancy as far as mom's in a high level stress position.
Right.
Because what you do is you just get in there and you touch that belly and you go, hey, bud or gal, whoever, you know which one it is. You go, mom's really stressed today. Let me tell you about that court case. And you know what? You don't have to worry about a darn thing because mom's got this under control. Okay? So you separate between what is mine, what is my job as mom, and what is your job as baby. Baby, you're along for the ride. And then I teach them to do what? Silently breathe in through their nose, silently breathe out at a hum. At the end of the hum, swallow. You do it 3 times, and you're going to increase blood flow to baby and the quality of oxygen. Okay, you're stressed out every 5 minutes. Okay, hum and swallow every 5 minutes.
Right.
It is free.
Free medicine.
It's going to get your metabolism balanced. It's going to balance your hormones. It's going to give you oxygen. It's going to get rid of CO2. It is your natural detox system. It's pure goodness.
But you don't swallow on purpose.
You don't. You just tell,
right?
I just tell people, tell your brain to swallow when it's ready. Because they don't want it to be forced.
Right.
But you have to wait till the electricity goes from first gear, second gear, third gear. It's got to get all the way down to 9th, 10th,
Right.
and 11th
12.
gear.
Yeah. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but I really wanted to tell you about this hack that I use before almost every episode of Stacked. I find a quiet place. I find my noise-canceling headphones. That's a must. Then I grab my Remedy sleep mask from Blue Blocks, which you guys know I love. I push it all the time. And I find this little app in my phone called Brain FM. Now, if you're on your browser, go to brain.fm/stacked, and you're going to save 20% on this app. That's not very expensive anyway. And this thing is incredible for your brain, your focus, your attention, your productivity, your relaxation. You actually pick exactly what you want to do with the next few hours of your day, and it will program music that is scientifically engineered to shift your brain state into that direction. And I'm telling you, it works amazing. So head on over to brain.fm/stacked and check out this app. And now back to the show. So
Just takes time.
And this is sort of that energetic piece, because I think where we started the conversation, I think it was before we turned it on, but like, stress is, there's like the thing, like the story I shared with you, and then there's the thoughts about the thing. And so women that are pregnant, they're in an argument, they're in a fight, they're in a stressful day of work, maybe they get in their own head about like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant, I can't be this stressed, what do I do about it? So you're saying that there's this energetic component where you grow this relationship with your baby, and you can actually separate what's yours and what's mine.
Right. Exactly. Because the reality is, if as women, if we go into we've done something wrong, then we're setting ourselves to never be able to live or thrive, because we're going to have disagreements and arguments. We are going to be upset in relationships. I am going to miss a deadline. I am going to make a mistake. And the whole thing I teach moms is to rub your hands together, because if you just rub the palms of your hands together and you wiggle your toes, okay, I've just turned on your brain.
Right.
Your brain just needs more electricity. And then you have to say, in this moment, I am safe with whatever. I am safe being upset with my husband. I am safe being upset with my obstetrician. I am safe being upset with my boss. I'm safe being late getting home from. It doesn't matter what it is, but if you say the word safe, your brainstem goes, oh, my human's safe. Oh, I don't have to worry about anything right now.
Right.
Because the brainstem has gears. Happy, happy? Holy crap, something's really bad. But it's about safety. And oxygen is the number one thing that triggers dysfunction. Whenever I go, oh my God, I'm going to be late, what do? I hold my breath.
Right.
My mouth opens. My brain goes, how am I going to figure this out? I've got to do blah, 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 blah. And I use up all this electricity.
Right.
Instead of, I'm 100% safe not knowing where to go. I'm 100% safe taking the wrong exit off the freeway. You just turn it back on. I am safe. Nothing bad's happening right now.
Right.
I can do this. Hum and swallow. You're going to get oxygen, and now your brain can fire for you And now you can make better choices. You will be able to see more things. How many people get upset, they're running late, they can't find their keys?
Right.
Okay, why? Because the oxygen's dropped, the blood vessels in the eye are super tiny, they get a little constricted. That's what stress does, constricts all of our little vessels and our tubes, our important one, our airway. So we get all tight,
Right.
and so we don't see.
Right.
So all you have to do is hum and swallow 3 times. You're going to get more oxygen. You're going to see what's right in front of you.
Your keys.
Your keys, your cell phone,
Well, and I think that's so important because
your
I think-
exit, get off the freeway.
I think it's so important to learn this little hack because one of the things we talk a lot about on the show, we end up like finding ourselves in technology conversations and phones and just this idea that like with all the convenience, with all the apps, with all the GPS, it's like we're decreasing our sort of capacity. Like we're externalizing so much. So I think like that little, where are the keys? What exit do I take? These things are actually happening more and more and more and more. And I don't see any sign that we're going to go the other way. So I think that this little hack, I think, is just incredibly useful. Do you subscribe to the triune brain theory, the reptilian, mammalian, human brain piece?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Only because I just want to go down to something simpler.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the piece that most people, when they chop up things,
Mm-hmm.
it's really not from a neurophysiological point of view
Right.
when you consider electricity as fuel and oxygen as fuel and CO2 as let's get it out of our body.
Right.
That's where I want to start.
Right.
Because I don't care who you are. When we balance your cranial nerves and your CO2 and oxygen, you're going to be different.
Right.
You're going to be more of you. And your capacity to make decisions, to choose where you want to go, to decide what you want to eat, to decide who you want to be friends with, and maybe somebody you don't want to, you're going to have the capacity to say no. Do you know how hard it is to say no?
Pretty hard.
Until you actually, I have people that go through my classes, and on the 3rd day, they actually can say no. They can't neurologically, mechanically get the tongue to curl, move it up to go, nah, 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 no. And if they say no, they close their eyes because there's not enough electricity for everything to work. I can look at you, I have confidence, I can say no, and I can breathe.
Right.
It's harder than what people think. But when you have that capacity, you know what's right for you. You've got your gut. Your vagus nerve goes all the way down there. But if you don't get to swallow, you don't have very much of vagus.
Right.
And that's everyone has digestion issues.
Right.
I'm like, well, start humming. It's pretty darn free. Just breathe in through your nose and then hum. Don't be breathing in through your mouth and then hum because now you just upregulated all your sympathetics and,
Right.
everything's high gear now.
So, but breathe silently through your nose and then
And
don't
then
swallow
hum.
on purpose.
Right, right. Super simple. Have something between your teeth. You don't have something? Put your tip of your tongue just a smidge between your teeth. Reset your nervous system and remind yourself that you're safe.
Right.
It can be as simple as I'm 100% safe looking at the green bush out there.
Right.
You
That
know?
is an important.
And now your brainstem is all focused. So if you want to call it the triune brain, doesn't matter. Everything is focused and your brain has to hear, which is cranial nerve number 8, and says, I am safe. Now your brain can return to an amazing capacity.
Amazing.
Yep.
Did you tell me why I can't put 2 hands on the kettlebell yet?
Well, we started. Then I think we got sidetracked on something else.
That was like an hour ago.
Yeah, maybe. So once upon a time, in the country of Russia, you dip the baby in the
Right.
cold water to turn everything on.
Right.
Okay? So now their nervous system is up to 100 million billion. Okay? They're
Yeah.
firing.
They're firing.
They're firing because they're living and it makes them stronger. It does not make you weaker, it makes you stronger. But you have to have a knowledgeable person without fear, knowing who they're doing it to, why they're doing it to, because they know it's beneficial. Okay. So an
Right.
American doing it doesn't know how or why or whatever, and they haven't seen it, and it's not their 800th, person that they've resuscitated this way or everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me just put a bracket on this. Okay. So I fly Southwest Airlines a lot because it's, out of Phoenix.
Proudly presented by.
Yeah. they should help out this endorsement. I have resuscitated 3 people on an airplane with a cup of friggin' cold ice water. Yes, stick a stick between the teeth, even the little red pokey thing that they
How
use.
often are you flying?
A lot. And it's usually from from Newark to Phoenix. That seems to where people go down.
That's a long
Now
flight.
I'm flying out of other cities. Just
Yeah.
Anyway. And then you just take it because it's the same concept. We shock the body to normal.
So what caused them to go out?
Who knows?
Okay.
I don't know.
It
But,
wasn't like a heart attack.
oh, we had one. Oh, yeah. And I'm doing CPR in the middle of the aisle.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, they all lived. But 3
Amazing.
for 3, I'm good.
I'm going to start flying Southwest.
No, well, good luck. I mean, do whatever you want to do. But the reason I told you that is because it's ice water.
Right.
It's the same concept, but you throw it down the spine.
Right.
And do you scuba dive?
Yeah.
Okay, do you ever out there in the middle of the choppy and everybody's getting seasick? Same concept. They know it. In scuba dive, you're out there, they just throw cold water down your spine.
Right.
It resets your nervous system.
100%. And it's like if you
Yes.
take a cold shower, it's like the thing that no one wants to do.
Right.
They don't want to get it on the back of the neck and let it run down.
Right. And I just say, oh, you're just a wuss.
That's right.
Come on, Americans, chop, chop. You can keep up with the rest of the world.
So just to kind of like set the stage a little bit. So you're sitting in row 12A. Someone goes down. Do they say, like, is anyone qualified to deal with this? And then you raise your hand and you
Well,
say,
I
get me
wait.
an ice water.
I wait. Yep. So it's 2
Get me
times.
some saltines and an ice
Well,
water.
I carry equipment with me. So I open my computer and I'm like, you holding the computer. I put this hose up their nose. I put a belt on them. I do this. I'm like, do you have
belt?
oxygen for
Where's the
heart rate
belt?
variability?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
a heart rate strap.
And I'm like, this guy's going down. I'm like, hold this guy's head up. And I stick a essential oil up his nose so he starts to smell.
Is it peppermint by any chance?
I have no idea
Okay.
what it was.
All
Do you
right.
like peppermint?
No, I had a horrible head injury, fractured my skull and surgery and the whole thing. And one of my really forward-thinking docs, one of which I want to connect with you. His name's Dr. John Marchese. He's out of Boston. He talks a lot of cranial nerve stuff. But I used to whiff peppermint during my treatments. I don't know why, but I think it turns on some stuff. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to derail you.
No.
I just know
no.
it's a brain-stimulating scent.
Right. So if you really want to biohack,
Yeah, I do.
you put different scents up each nostril
Oh, man.
because you've got to get the synchronicity between your right and left brain.
Right. So you're big on, like, treating each side on its own. Like, my guess is, like, if you
Yep.
were designing a strength training program, it'd be like single leg work, single leg pressing, single arm pressing.
It all depends what's going on.
Right.
So all those principles are amazing.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure that the person has the capacity to do it breathing through their nose.
Right.
Otherwise, their brainstem can't keep up
Right.
with their body.
Right.
Okay?
Right. I didn't mean to derail you.
No,
Okay, so
you're
different
fine.
scents up each nose.
Yep. Like
Heart rate
orange.
strap.
Oh yeah, our dude on the airplane. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh,
We're
yeah.
back on
But
the
I want to
airplane.
recreate this, like, tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
So,
Anyway, so we're throwing stuff down him, and his CO2 is dropping, and I'm like holding his head back, and you hold.
so you
the
have, like,
neck.
a pulse oximeter or something?
Oh no, I have CO2 measurement.
Oh, okay. You have a mask on them.
Well, a hose. It's just
Okay.
a
Oh, up
hose
the
up their
nose.
nose.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's a little cannula.
There's a lot up the nose right now.
Oh, totally. I know. You should see what I do to the athletes. It's like, honey, your nose is going to work. We got 6 spaces to open. Yeah, you're gonna get there.
So what happens? Okay.
So anyway, so you just keep working with them,
Yeah.
and then it's nervous, and then you get in the back. So, of course, I carry everything I need.
Yeah.
But good old vinegar will wake up that uvula, and that uvula is tied directly to your heart.
Now tell people what that is.
Your uvula is
Uvula.
the little cute little wiggle thing in the back of your throat when you
Got
go,
it.
it looks like a little,
Yep. The
pea.
dangly thing.
yeah,
Vinegar. Okay.
vinegar.
So, okay. So hold on. Just to, again, let's just There's a guy
Yes.
passed out. He's got two different.
And he's white and gray.
White
We're talking.
He's an old dude.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
oxygen up the nose. He's got peppermint in one, orange eucalyptus in the other.
And vinegar on his uvula and throat.
Vinegar. So is it you just pouring it down his throat?
No, I have always a little container. I put a Q-tip in there. Get back in there,
okay,
wake
so
it
it's
up.
just a little dab of vinegar.
Oh no, it's a big swab.
Big
the
swab.
dude is not conscious. We're bringing you to consciousness.
Are the flight attendants like? I don't know if this lady's like a registered anything,
All right.
but he wakes up.
Yeah.
And is he chipper or is he like Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future 3 or Doc when they wake up Doc with the wake up
embarrassed. He's embarrassed.
He's embarrassed.
He's embarrassed. And so he's like, oh, whenever a brainstem is injured,
Yeah.
it says one thing, I'm fine.
Right.
And that's when you know they're not.
Right. I had a
That's
quick
why I
story.
tell people,
Yeah.
never believe a person after injury. Test them.
Right.
That's why I created the dynamic functional cranial nerve assessment. You must test the brainstem. It can't tell you, I have a problem.
Right.
It can't tell you, hey, my cranial nerves can't regulate oxygen. Do you think you could do something about that?
Right.
No.
What was that called?
What?
What is your
The
system?
dynamic functional cranial nerve assessment.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to get that. I keep going.
Okay. So anyway, they're embarrassed when they wake up.
Right.
Okay. So, he's fine or whatever. And I'm like, well, we're going to keep monitoring you
Right.
the whole way. So, of course, by this time, the people next to him changed seats. And I'm
Was it
now
like an
his
emergency
new.
landing?
Oh, no, that one didn't emergency land. The next
Really?
one did.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, we were fine. He came to. We monitored his vitals. I monitored his vitals the whole way down. Got here when he landed in Phoenix. We got him electrolytes. We got him balanced. His CO2 and oxygen were stable. He invited me to play golf the next day with him. I know. We had a good, happy ending on that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was the other one as happy?
Well, she had to be taken off, and we did have to have emergency landing. But
Yeah.
she was alive, and she
Holy
was working.
smokes.
She totally went out.
That is wild. So one quick story when I
Never
was
leave home without vinegar. That's the moral to the
this
story.
I got the heart rate strap. I've got you see all my tinctures over here.
Yeah, just a little vinegar.
Yeah, I gotta add vinegar.
Yeah, we can get you in a real small little vial,
Yeah. Okay.
possibly in your pocket.
All right, hey.
Get through security.
Yeah, I got space. Okay. Oh, my quick story was when I was a kid. When I was first starting to do personal training, when I was like 19, and I would close the gym a lot. And this one particular night, I was the only male, right? And a guy in the locker room came out of the sauna. He was super hot, jumped into a cold shower, passed out. So he's down just in the middle of the shower room, right? Naked, obviously. And I go in and I shake him, and he skips up like he, just took maybe he just whiffed peppermint or something. And he was so, like you said, embarrassed. He hopped up so fast, he slipped and then hit his head, and then he was out again. And then we had to call now we had to call 911. So, but it seems like a universal impulse, right? And it's
Because they're
sad
in
that
shock.
Embarrassment is
shock.
the thing,
Right.
but that's learned, isn't it?
Now that I don't know.
Because my dog's not embarrassed if he passes out.
But, well, let me go
Maybe
a
that's
different.
not a great example.
No. But let me go a different way. It's about my brainstem knows I'm vulnerable.
Right.
And vulnerable in a brainstem means I'm prey.
Fear, yeah,
Right. So now I have to make sure you're not a predator.
right.
Do you see? So now my brain goes into predator prey. So I got to get up so I'm not vulnerable,
Right,
because invulnerability.
right.
Okay. So in that situation, if you just get to where your eyes are lower than their eyes, they're less vulnerable.
So if I had been kind of kneeling instead of hovering over him,
Yeah.
he might not have
No.
skipped up so fast.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah. So can you tell us a little more about your dynamic
Functional
functional
cranial
nerve assessment?
Well, I think it's amazing. Okay? Just to let you
Well,
know.
I think everyone listening is going to believe you.
Well, the reason why is because what makes sense to me,
Yeah.
I have figured out doesn't make sense to a lot of other people. Because I'm super, super precise
Right.
in every little step.
Right.
And then once everything gets going, just go play and have fun. Have a great life.
Right.
But to get the cranial nerves on board, you have to be
You want to
super,
paint the picture.
you have to be super accurate. So what I have discovered is what people know about cranial nerves and what almost every profession is tested on are its anatomical dimensions. And then the big worst case scenario. So,
Right.
Bell's palsy, people know, oh, that's cranial nerve number 7.
Right.
Okay, well, you have a million things before Bell's palsy. No one talks about that.
Right.
So I was taught that if you know function, it will be easy to see dysfunction, right?
Right. Right.
You can
Yeah.
easily see somebody walking with the hip not moving and the shoulder not moving, right? You can see gait
Right.
at a distance. You don't
Yeah.
have to be super close to them. You're
Right.
trained.
Right.
So it's the same thing with cranial nerves. So people who understand the anatomy don't really understand what happens to the brainstem if they don't work. Okay?
Right.
Now they don't understand what they should do and how to test them. Okay? So when they have pictures on YouTube and when they have all this out, most of the time they are testing it 1 through 12. Okay? But that's not how the brain works. That's a number system of anatomy.
Right.
So if you break them off into their different dimensions, and then you look, how do I evaluate a sensory system is very different than how I evaluate a motor system.
Right.
And then I put them in the order of think of it as circuits.
Right.
Okay? So if I test this nerve, can it override another nerve? Just like cranial nerve 5 can override everything else.
Everything. Yeah.
Okay? So you have to test the big cranial nerve kind of at the end because he can give false signals to the other nerve. If I test him first and then I test another one second, the second one could look better than what it really is if I had tested it first and then the big one second. Does that make sense? So
Right,
that's why
yeah.
my whole program is neurosequencing.
Right.
The sequencing must be electrically driven.
Right.
Okay, and then you have
Yeah.
to understand. Now we need to understand anatomy. Where does this nerve travel, and where could it be pinched? Where could it be smushed?
Right.
Where it could be what pinched by a head injury,
Right.
your neck, C1 and 2. It could be a tethering,
Yep.
where the brainstem is actually outside of the skull. That's called a chiari. Okay.
Sounds scary.
Well, it can cause a big factor in headaches.
Right.
Okay. And then those cranial nerves aren't going to work the same because they're under extraordinary pressure
Right.
or tension.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, here's the dance. Everyone takes an MRI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you had one?
Yeah.
And what position were you in?
Lying.
Yeah. Do you think gravity would affect a brainstem?
My guess is
Yeah. So why don't we do a cranial nerve assessment?
in the pool.
Yes, exactly. No, that's how we fix them. But we assess them, and then if we find a problem, we get a standing MRI. And voila, we see what?
Different
The
stuff.
problem.
Right.
Now we can help them because we've identified the right problem.
Right.
So it's those type of things we have to do. Position matters. We got to find the problem. Position matters in birth,
Right.
childbirth.
I can't believe that's like one of the big mind-blowing things from this episode that I'm taking is like gravity should help.
Yes.
Like it's like it's so strange to lie down and then push sideways when there's this amazing force pulling down. It's really like one of these
Nature.
like aha. It's like
Yeah.
the first time the guy jumped over the high jump like the funny way, and everyone is like, "What?" But it works.
Right.
Nature knows what it's doing.
Right. So I've done the same program working with athletes that want to go to the Olympics. So we've had a lot in Arizona over the years.
Yeah.
And I've also worked with a lot of baseball players
Got it.
because of course, spring training.
This is where they hang out.
Exactly. So if you get their cranial nerves working, they're going to perform much better and they're going to be able to recover. So it's not about injury, it's about recovering from the injury
Right.
and getting the brainstem back on for the injury. So when we work in those parameters, you can see how even a swimmer, you can take seconds, you can take minutes if they can exhale more efficiently.
Right.
They can take oxygen in, and it's that synchronization. That's amazing.
Well, I get that question a lot. Like swimmers, how do you do this?
How do I do what?
Nose breathing.
Well, I teach them how to, well, you turn their cranial nerves on.
Right.
Most of the time, if they're going to dysfunction, it's when they start to squat to take off.
Okay.
So I have them 100% evaluated.
Yeah.
I know exactly when they disconnect,
Right.
where their weak link is.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And of course, my face can't let them know because then, then they get self-conscious, right? Instead of how can I help you with timing?
Right.
It's a timing thing.
Right.
Yeah. So as soon as now you get them to hum, they dive in, they hum the whole length of the pool. They can come back up, breathe in, go under, hum, come all the way back. And until they can do that, that's their warm up.
Right.
Now, hands off, do whatever you want, swim coach.
Yeah.
But when they're done, they
Cool
have
down.
to reset. Exactly the same reset.
That's interesting.
Okay. Now I'm
Good
going to
answer.
take them out of the water. We have 4 steps. We resynchronize them with 4 steps because I have to take the fish, turn them back into a human,
Right.
resync them, and then they have to do a different little program before they go to bed. Takes about 10 minutes. And again, we just have to resync you to land.
Right.
Super simple, very simple,
Right.
very quick, because the brainstem fires so fast, you can get so much done.
Right.
But there's that counterbalance of it. You can mess it up really quick.
Yeah. I was thinking like why you probably dive so deep into the individual and why it's hard to make high level recommendations is like if 5's on, but 7, 9, and 12 are off, and you just start drilling 5 more, I imagine that's probably not going to be a good outcome.
Correct. Or not a beneficial outcome or a lasting outcome.
Right.
But the other thing people don't understand is, again, airplanes. Okay, so airplanes, you go up in pressure. Okay, it's very detrimental to athletes and humans, all humans. But that pressure brings out our weak link.
Right. I work with a lot of pilots.
Yeah.
But I don't have this information, so let's talk
they're
about this.
very susceptible.
Yeah. Well, I'm super, like, this ties into like charge because you talk a lot about electricity. And one of the big things I do with pilots is like, as soon as you land, you got to like jump in the ocean or you got to get out into the wet grass or you got to do something, get in contact with the earth, hook yourself up to PEMF if you've got it. But now I want like your information around this.
Right. Well, and again, it's you, because we all perform.
Right.
Right? I mean, birth is a performance. So if you think that way, it's we got to train you, we got to get you in sync, and then we got to bring you back and we got to ensure that your sleep is. Well, of course, there's ways to work with different meridians to reset sleep.
Right.
Okay? It's been around longer than I'm old. Okay? You just access that and you apply it because they're going through pressure zones and time zones and all those kind of things affect the brain.
Right.
Their posture in an airplane is horrific.
Right.
Horrific. Okay?
Pilots or anybody.
Yes, pilots.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, their pelvic floor is going to get a negative 27.
Right.
Not good. So they've got to rebuild their pelvic floor. Okay? If any of them have had a coccyx injury or a twist, that's going to change your brainstem. It's changing your parasympathetic. You're going to be more sympathetic driven.
Right.
So, hey, you're going to have digestive issues. You know, all those things matter. So we have special cushions for them. You know, it doesn't matter. We can support the coccyx no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, you may look a little different. You may carry a little pillow with you. Who cares?
Yeah.
Okay. Cars, that matters.
Yep.
You've got to resync your legs afterwards.
Right.
We got to turn you back into human
Right.
while you do this unnatural process. It's not about don't do it.
Right.
It's let's get you strong so you can do it and reset.
Right. So what would be like for a frequent traveler, it doesn't have to be a pilot, a little like pre-post flight sequence that we could do? And I know it's not
It's
like
no,
you
it's
can't
going to be
generalize.
no, it's going to be the same thing.
Humming and
Yeah, but what if you had two different smells you could smell?
right.
Okay? Because we know airplane air is not the purest.
Garbage, yeah.
Okay? So if my nose is working and I can hum long and loud for like 10 seconds, now you're not going to sit there and hum all the time and you're in the air.
Oh, I don't
But
care who
you
I'm
have
sitting
that
next to, I'll do
capacity.
whatever.
Well, I hum when you take off. No one can hear the jet louds. They're very noisy.
Yeah.
So, but you got to be able to hum because that produces nitric oxide.
Mm,
Okay? Any athlete want nitric oxide? Any human want nitric?
they should.
Right. We could have just a show about nitric oxide. Well, you get it when you hum. Hello.
Right.
Okay?
Mm.
Your sinuses have to produce it. So there's a nasal breathing protocol. We got to clean out your nose so that you can produce it. The lining of your sinuses produce this amazing product that everyone's trying to bottle.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
but you've got to turn it on. You got to hum. You got it. You know how they swallow, but you got to really put something between your teeth or your tongue.
Hmm.
Get that so you can open, so you can get that eustachian tube.
Right.
The poor eustachian tube has two cranial nerves, and they're very opposite. They regulate the tension on the tube.
I don't think a lot of people know what that is.
The eustachian tube,
Yeah.
that's when you swallow, it opens your ears.
Okay.
Thus the swallow.
If you were wondering,
Yeah.
listeners.
But anyway, so that's why cranial nerves have to be balanced.
Right.
Okay? So that's the balance between cranial nerve 5 and 10. You hum for 10, you have something between your teeth for 5. Now you can regulate.
Right.
Because otherwise, anybody have a clogged ear? I mean, it's painful. It'll just drop you. Right. So you've got to do that. You've got to maintain it. You got to maintain it when you go up, and you got to do a couple hums and swallows when you come down.
Got it.
Okay? You've got to learn to regulate.
Really cool. And I imagine it works for sleep too.
It does. Sleep. Think about sleep, Mr. Functional Movement. What positions do you sleep in? Just guess.
My back.
Yeah.
Are you asking me personally?
Anybody.
Or just
Any
anybody?
human.
I aim for my back, but sometimes I end up on my side.
Okay. Left side. What other position could you sleep in?
You could sleep on your stomach.
Right? Or your...
Other side.
Exactly. So I bet you better practice humming and swallowing in all those positions. Because you're going to find that if you've been in any type of a head injury or your neck has been twisted or, something happened somewhere,
Right.
one side you're not going to be able to breathe well in.
Right.
Okay, so you practice it 3 times before you go to bed.
So I'll only sleep, I think, on my left side if I sleep on my side at
Right.
all.
So get in bed, hum and swallow, face down.
Okay.
Hum and swallow, left side.
Is it
hum and-
harmful to sleep on your stomach though?
No,
No.
just get your brain to be able to function in
these
no
positions.
matter what position you're in.
Got it.
It's very simple,
Yeah, that's
but
simple.
it's not. This information isn't well known
Right.
because industry, they want to sell you
You
something.
can't bottle it. You
Right. I can't bottle
package
your
it.
hum. I can bottle the vinegar, though, in a very small package with a Q-tip for the airplane trip. Should somebody have a heart attack with you.
I mean, I'd buy Lois Laynee vinegar.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go brew some in my backyard. Yeah. Right. We
We'll put it
can't
in a
bottle
tincture.
this. There you go. It's free.
Free medicine.
It's totally free. It'll change your life. You can never be you won't ever go anywhere without it.
Right. This is awesome. Wow. So did you tell me why the 2 hands on the kettlebell?
I'm getting there. We're almost there. Okay.
And I'm imagining you like Turkish get-ups.
I love them.
You
I
have to.
teach them.
Yeah, okay,
oh,
cool.
Yes.
We're cool then.
No.
Yeah.
I can fix sleep apnea with it. I do it all the time. When you can do it properly.
Hum throughout.
Yep.
Is this the cure to sleep apnea?
It's
Hum throughout.
a
Popsicle stick.
functional program installation.
I will say,
Does that make sense?
yes.
Now, we have to build to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't do it. How many people do it and they're shaking?
Right.
Okay. And how many people say, oh, that's pain leaving the body? I'm like, no, you are in fight and fright.
Right.
And you've just amped up and blowing cortisol, and cortisol is now going to screw up your sleep. Thank you very much.
Right. But Goggins said, no, but I have noticed this insane increase in maybe not strength overall, but strength endurance since I've been doing my get-ups with the popsicle stick in my mouth.
It's amazing because why? Okay, so let's go back. Cranial nerve 5 needs to be in neutral, okay, for everything else to work right.
Right.
Makes sense? There's
in
a reason.
neutral.
Yeah, in neutral. So your teeth are touching on a stick. They don't have the proprioception to each other. Enamel has huge proprioception to your brain, and it can override other signals.
Wow.
Well, I do not want a signal overriding my oxygen signal. No. I do not want a signal overriding my CO2 signal. No.
This is okay.
I do not want these aberrant signals trumping everything else. That's not the way this works.
And why, and you might have touched on this, but my brain's about to explode. Why is 5 carrying so much weight?
Because it has the biggest influence on your entire nervous system. It has ganglions that go everywhere.
But just because eating is
And
so
it's
important?
huge. No, it's a big, huge, well, it's essential.
Right.
If baby cannot nurse, baby will die.
Got it. Yeah, that
It's
makes
life
sense.
and death.
That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I can buy that.
It's 100%. If you can't swallow, now you're going to go on support,
Right.
right?
Right.
You can't breathe. It's integral, and
Right.
it's so massively. If you look at the surface area in the brain that it influences, it's humongous.
Right.
So it's kind of like Boardwalk and Park Place.
Right. Homunculus.
Homunculus. We need
Right.
to homunculize you.
Right.
So we're going to go back to the kettlebell. Once
So-
upon a time, Mr. and Mrs. Kettlebell.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you have a stick between your teeth, you have taken and neutralized cranial nerve 5 so that the rest of the nerves get their fair share of electricity from a relay electrical dimension.
Right.
Okay. You're also going to take away the tension in your neck. Okay.
That's a big one.
Right.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I put that tension on, I'm out of parasympathetics again.
Right.
So cranial nerve 7 has to do with their platysmus. Your platysmus shows when people are clenching their teeth. Okay, so now
People don't know what platysmus is.
it makes you kind of look like an iguana
right.
in your neck.
When you do
Yeah,
this
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
platysmus.
Yeah. We don't want to platysmasize
Right,
too much.
right.
Not during physical activity.
Right.
Maybe when you smile.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Coming up, you know.
I know. Really fast.
So you want to get, these nerves are going to counter influence your body's ability.
Right.
Brainstem nerves override body nerves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you create the neutrality, I'm going to take tension off my clavicles.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take tension off my hyoid bone.
Mm-hmm.
So your hyoid bone is this little bone that protects your airway.
Right.
Okay. And your throat. What it has is this wonderful, special little muscle called the omohyoid. Omo. And it hops down and it goes back to your scapula.
I don't know if I learned that in functional anatomy.
You know what? It is the most misunderstood muscle.
Mm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if I'm clenching my teeth, I'm going to be pulling my
Yeah.
shoulder forward.
100%.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to tighten my airway. It's so exciting. Okay? So now I'm in a bad position for my airway, and I'm going to weight it. Let me pick up 2 kettlebells. And now I'm going to compress my sternum,
Yep.
which is going to influence possibly my capacity in my lungs. Just a little bit, right? Just
Yeah.
smush it. I'm going to bring it together. No worries. I'm going to open my mouth. And I'm going to lift in this massive, stressful position.
Right.
So now, after I've practiced this, and by God, I got them.
This is the 2-arm swing.
Oh,
for those
yes. And
listening.
I'm shaking a little bit and everything
Mhm.
else. Now I lay down in bed and I'm going,
Yeah. What a great workout.
and I become Darth Vader.
Got it.
Okay. So you build it. Everybody understands building performance. You just don't start there.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And most of us, we don't have strong necks. Okay. And then you don't have big enough airways to support the load that you are trying to do.
Right.
But if we get cranial nerves to do their job first, we stabilize your mouth second.
Right.
Okay. And I teach your right arm what to do. And I get Mr. Omohyoid very nice and strong. And it's going to be amazing because when I walk, I'm going to have this amazing posture. Yeah. See where I'm
Got
going?
it. Yep.
Now I teach my left side.
Yeah.
Maybe do some battling ropes. See, I'm going to build it.
You know what's funny is I've never really liked those.
Well,
But now I have a different reason.
You
Like
have
now
it-
I know the why. That's where we
yeah.
started this conversation.
Get in there. Just do it for 60 seconds.
Right. Well, it
I haven't
hurts.
gone to the side of my. Oh, well, we got to move you through that one, honey. 60 seconds a day. That's all you have. It's amazing. Even if you just get it going, but that's a natural rhythm.
Right.
That's more natural than a kettlebell.
All right. So you guys got the workout. 5-minute grocery cart push, 1 minute battling rope, and then as you progress, 1-arm
Right.
kettlebell swings.
Right. Now, if you really want to rock and roll,
Uh-oh.
get a vibration plate.
I had a note back here to ask you about these. I thought you might dig those.
Oh,
But
I
real-
have like 7.
Let's dive into that. One quick question. So, like, this is actually what I've been working out with.
Perfect.
Like, popsicle stick. And I'm feeling like, because another rule is tongue to the roof of the mouth, right? If
In
you've
the-
got the popsicle stick in
In the perfect world,
the perfect world. Do you recommend just wearing a mouth guard to work out? And
Nope.
Wouldn't it do the same thing?
Nope.
And then I could get my tongue up easier? No?
Nope. We'll
It's
get you.
gotta
We'll
be-
get you shorter. We'll get you the mini popsicle stick.
The mini popsicle stick.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I need some.
Amazon.com.
Maybe that could go with the vinegar, and then you've got a nice little package.
We could get a little bitty package.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Vibe plate, because you know what's funny is they've got one at a coffee shop near my house, and I'll go buy a coffee just to hang out on it
Perfect.
because I know it makes me feel good.
Perfect. Except if you have a Chiari. So if people don't like it, it's because their brainstem is getting
Outside
rattled.
there.
Yep, their skull, and it's hitting. So if people don't, it's not for everyone. Okay.
Okay.
So if you put one foot on it, if it feels really weird, try another foot. They will instantly get off. They can feel very grumpy.
Yep.
Okay. And please take them seriously.
Right.
Please.
Right.
It's not for everyone.
Right. I learned that this week with some liver detox stuff we were doing. Worked well for a lot of people and a couple others not so much. But so with the vibe plates, though, because I've been thinking about getting one, there's like different frequencies, there's different amplitudes, there's obviously different size vibe plates. So like, what is it doing? Why should I like it? And like, what do you look for?
That is huge.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will defer to go just get one that you like. Maybe pick the color you like.
That was way more simple of an
I know.
answer than I was
well,
hoping for.
No, because it is. You can get into super, super, super particular science,
Right.
and that's not my
like-
intention. My intention is get on one.
Right.
Okay,
Like
they
30
say-
hertz and 50 hertz isn't going to
Just
be
do something.
make or break.
We're talking people who just learned to walk. Okay, or people who have a Chiari.
Relearned.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Learned how to walk better.
Exactly. So if you're in good health, get one. And even osteoporosis, like they have tons of studies that the vibration helps bone density. In the context of that, you're sitting in a chair. We've worked it in the retired area like Sun City
Yeah.
for years and years. You put your feet on we use power plates out there because they have the research for it.
Right.
And you put your feet on that and they just do that for 10, 15 minutes a day.
Right.
It's amazing. So you can do it. It's amazing for children with developmental out of sync, when they're out of sync a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. It helps them. I have kids that have difficulty talking and some other things. You put them on a power plate. We play for about 20 minutes. We do cranial nerve activation.
Wow.
And all of a sudden
So
they
they're
start,
sitting.
or they stand,
Or they're
sit.
standing.
I don't care.
You don't even care.
I follow them.
Is
whatever
a
you want.
trampoline one of those like home trampolines? Is it like a budget solution? Because I think a lot of people, like my
It's
mom
the difference between a car and a moped.
and a horse.
There's different.
Okay.
Because I have both.
Right.
Now you can get a vibration plate from Amazon for $150.
Wow. Because my mom, I'm worried about her osteoporosis stuff, right?
Just start off with the $150 one.
And it's just you've used the $150
Oh
one?
yeah.
It's okay?
Yeah.
All right, Mom. It's coming in. I was going to get her a trampoline.
Well, you get the angled rebounder,
Right.
okay? And you get the industrial one. They're like $80.
Yeah.
Okay. And all they have to do is bounce and just get their heels off like an inch. No running, just little bounce. 5 minutes maybe 2 minutes.
Right.
But if your pelvic floor isn't fully engaged and
Right.
stable, no one will like the bounce.
Right. Even in my personal training days, a lot of ladies don't like jumping jacks and things like that.
Right. So that is a bigger indicator.
Right.
But all my clients that I work with a 3-day program, you will see this person when you video on what they can do the first day and what they can do the third day is unbelievable in posture because posture comes from cranial nerve 11.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you just get little tiny motion.
Right.
We're talking, remember, your brainstem can feel so much. You don't have to do much to turn it on. You just need to be precise.
Right.
And maybe 3 minutes. This isn't like the marathon.
Right.
We are not training like the big end product. We're just turning on cranial nerves, get them in sync.
Exactly.
Boom, stick a stick between your teeth, hum, get out there, go move.
Right. And I think that's another, like we talked about, how free medicine can't be encapsulated. It can't be boxed or shipped or packaged. Workouts are an hour. And if it's not an hour straight, then it's not a thing, right? But what is the connection between the toes and the pelvic floor? So, and I can go into a little bit more context if you want. So I've been hanging out for the last bunch of years with a group called DNS Prague School, right? And it's a lot of breath work stuff. And if someone's having trouble getting quality depth, their assumption is that that's a pelvic floor concern, right? That pelvic diaphragm isn't doing its thing. And the solution sometimes is to curl the toes. No comment?
Okay.
And I'm not, by the way, like if DNS Prague is listening, like I'm probably bastardizing your stuff.
Maybe.
But but I remember being told at some point that there's a connection between like the toes curling, and this has to do with babies.
Yes.
This has to do with babies when they're feeding. There's a whole thing, and I don't have the whole picture here, and so I'm not giving it justice.
I understand.
But maybe I'm kind of like pushing enough your way to like.
Well, you go back to it's the homunculus and their reflexes.
Right.
Okay, so reflexes have development stages. If the development isn't inclusive of everything we want it to be, then those reflexes kind of hang out.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
The way I look at them are a little bit different. I am looking for functional reflexes, not dysfunctional reflexes.
Right.
Because when oxygen gets balanced and CO2 gets balanced, you do not have the survival reflexes on board because we are not in a fight and fright for our life.
Right.
Because oxygen has dropped.
Right.
Okay? So curling the toes for anyone maybe older than 6 months, and it just, let's say older than a year, it's going to activate mouth breathing. Okay, because the babies do move their toes when they are nursing. Okay, they get into a rhythm.
Right.
Okay, they hold their mom's hair. Unfortunately, they pull out some of mom's hair.
Right.
They hold on to mom's clothes. They want to have something in their hands, and their toes are moving because of the homunculus.
Right.
Okay, so the surface area. So when babies can't nurse, we hold their feet flat and we give them like a little compression, like a mini squat.
Interesting.
See where we're going?
Yep.
So we increase that, and all of a sudden, chomp, 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 they just start chomping away.
Wow.
Okay, so I look at surface area in the brain, cranial nerve signals, nature will turn on. So the pelvic floor, I have to have the phrenic nerve, which I love to call the 13th cranial nerve, because phrenic will fire when the rest of the 12 dudes do their job. And you can't skip a beat because it's like a zipper.
Right.
Okay? They all
That's
have
probably
to
a
zip
great-
up
that's a great
and
analogy.
boom, you are on.
Right.
So I still say, anybody goes, what are you going to do? I'm going to fix cranial nerves. We're going to activate them left and right. We're going to integrate them over the midline.
Yeah.
We're going to sequence them, and then we're going to synchronize them with motion,
Right.
natural motion,
Right.
natural motion. Okay? So we
Rolling.
can recreate rolling, pool, all the principles that are everything works
Right.
if the brainstem is on board.
Right.
All these training methods are amazing. The sad part is when people have to go from method to method because they're not getting the results.
Right. It's like all Band-Aids.
They feel like they're a failure,
Right.
right? Why is this person getting muscles and I've gained 3 pounds? Because of oxygen regulation, the cranial nerves aren't doing their job yet. They will. They can come on. They can come on. They can integrate. You can get out my door. You're with me an hour. Poof.
Right.
Okay? Thousands and thousands and thousands of time. This is not long-term therapy.
Mm-hmm.
However, it needs to be a daily function.
Yeah.
So I teach people how to squat and use the toilet. You know, they're going to use that during the day, right?
It's a functional activity.
Insert your stick, insert a popsicle stick, get a coffee straw, whatever you can. Hum, sit down on your toilet and swallow. You're going to find out when that is hard, your pelvic floor doesn't have electricity.
Oh, no.
And then you insert your stick when you're done and you hum and you stand up. And people are going to go, oh my God, I'm falling over. Well, get busy humming.
All right, guys. So if you're not humming right now, then start.
Exactly.
Another annoying question. Do you like mouth taping at night?
So I will defer to functional taping. Okay. Everything I'm going to tell you is functional.
Functional taping.
Yep. So if I cover my mouth at night, I am improving pressure to help the nose work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. However, if you have a full stomach, you could have some reflex, and if you don't want a negative outcome,
Right.
we're just going to cover that base.
Yeah, not like duct tape. Like,
It doesn't matter.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, just the knowing it's there, the
Well,
fear.
no. Well, there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I prefer to teach a person to fish
Right.
instead of don't get me wrong. If you come over, I'll give you a fish. But if we do a functional taping, I want the biculosaurus right here to do its job, which is put its lips together.
Right.
Okay. So if I tape around my mouth on my muscle and I activate a nerve, the result is what I get. I'm still going to activate my nerve and I'm going to get a result. I have trained my nerve all night long
Right.
instead of put a Band-Aid on all night long.
So you tape around the mouth, but not actually.
Don't touch your lips.
Oh my gosh, this is mind blowing.
Not only that, if I tape your lips around your lips, okay, like in a circle, and I put a stick in, I'm going to be able to teach. We're you know what? We're going to have a little challenge. You're going to teach
nervous.
somebody how to do something. I'll teach him how to do the Turkish get up my way with all my little props in your way, and we'll see who wins faster. Because I'm going to turn on that whole brainstem,
You're
and
on.
poof, that person's going to get up.
You're on. You're on.
And we're going to have heart rate variability because mine's not going to do it in stress, and yours going to do it in stress because here's the dance.
Because I'm going to say, we got to win. We got to win. We got to win.
Exactly. Mine's going to win. Because if I stay below the threshold of stress, my human is going to learn.
Yeah.
Your human is only going to do it for the moment.
Right.
Then they're going to have cortisol, and we're going to give them a crappy night's sleep.
I resonate with that. I think so. We just came off this incredible Runga event. Really intimate, 14 guests, 7 fitness experts. And Emilia kicked this thing off with one of the most, like, I've been part of a lot of welcome circles over the years, right? Been doing this 6 years and been to a lot of events myself. She kicked this thing off with the most sort of inviting. She was very vulnerable. It created a scenario where the dominoes fell and immediately we were in like the safest place imaginable, right? And
Perfect.
speaking of the get up, I've been teaching the get up to professional athletes for 8 years with marginal success, right? Like in an afternoon, maybe they can do it, but like you're not like stoked about it. It's like, okay, like you did it, and like tomorrow we'll like make it hopefully 45% better. This group of, at times middle-aged, at times sometimes never touched a kettlebell. I've never had a group learn the get up so quickly this is what you're talking about. So there was this like way huge undertone of safety, you can do no wrong. And I watched, and in every therapy, I taught kettlebells, but like the manual therapy, the meditation, like I thought you weren't good at meditating. You just sat for an hour. So like there was like this incredible, this like exponential upload. And I know it was because of that welcome circle that just really got everybody opening up and connecting. And so I resonate with what you're saying. And I'm sure you would win because I don't have Amelia to run the welcome circle and like all this jazz. But
But see, what happened is it is so easy to learn.
right.
It truly is. Yeah, you have to know this nerve. There's only 12.
Right.
There's not 97. I mean, anybody who knows the muscles in the body, okay, that's harder than these little nerves.
Yeah.
You just can't mix them with the bicep.
Right.
You can't mix the brainstem with the rest of the spinal column.
Right.
Yeah, they're very, very different. And
Yeah.
when you do, you get amazing results because you've got harnessing the power of nature.
Right.
You know?
We're always trying to conquer nature. It's like such a paradox.
Isn't it? Isn't it? And you love nature when it's really nice to you. And then
Right.
when the flood comes or the storm, you're like, eh. But that's power.
Right. This is like the most random thing I've said in this episode, which is saying something. But I think it's so interesting that like we get so obsessed with like good and bad. And if it's like really raining, that's bad. But before you were here, I was doing a little meditation thing because I told you I had a little bit of a fight or flight day. How come like meditation stuff's always a thunderstorm? And it's like, but that's the bad thing. But why is that the thing that like brings us to safety or brings us down? That was something that was on my mind before you got
Like
here.
the thunder?
Yeah. Like how
Well-
come when I turn on my meditation app, it's always a lightning thunderstorm? But
Be-
this is what's bringing me down.
Well, it's cranial nerve 8 is sound,
Okay.
but there's sound through air and sound through bone. And so it's your adaptation, just like your autonomic nervous system with the cold water and then the warm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
It's your brainstem has to be able to adjust to both instantaneously without skipping a beat. Your heart needs to function without skipping a beat.
Right.
We need to challenge your body without your oxygen changing 1%. Now you're tournament tough.
Right.
That's why hot and cold are amazing. And we have the lightning and the thunder. So that's another two opposites that your nervous system has to process.
Light and sound. I didn't think that question was going to get a cranial nerve answer.
Well,
I
stick
should
around.
know. I should know who I'm talking to.
I know. Most everything is. Because what happens is if you can't handle the two,
Yeah.
then your brain gets afraid.
Right.
So when you learn to handle those two, now you can adapt to more environments.
Right.
Thus, you've increased your capacity for adaptation.
Right. You've broadened the gap.
Yes. Filled in the missing pieces. You've expanded your horizon, however you want to look at it. But now your frequencies are bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right. Holy smokes. All right. My brain's fried. My cranial nerves are fried.
They're never fried. They never sleep. They love you.
Lois, first of all, thank you so much. I think this episode is just, there is so much value here, so many new ideas. I think this episode is an absolute must listen. If anybody listening, share this thing with whoever would benefit from it. But Lois, where can people find you, your work, your videos, whatever you've got out there? Where should they look?
Well, I'm sure some of them are YouTube, and I'm not like super computer savvy, but my website is Restoring Breathing.
And I'll put links to all this stuff
Sure.
in the notes. Restoringbreathing.com.
Right. Because breathing is natural and it needs to be restored.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I, of course, thought when I came up with that name that everyone knew that 12 cranial nerves have to work properly to restore breathing. But now I've learned that when I add the different pieces and the people understand what cranial nerves do and how to activate them, integrate them, it's life-changing, and that's what I want to share.
It's amazing. Thank you, Lois.
You're
Amazing
welcome.
time tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. For the show notes to today's episode and every episode of Stacked, just head to coachjodi.com/stacked. And don't forget to leave us a review wherever you found this show. Every 2 weeks, we send one lucky reviewer a gift card worth $150 to kettlebellkings.com, one of my favorite websites. Good luck, and thanks for listening.